Hello, welcome to AI Playbook, and in this edition, I'm excited to announce to you that we are taking this even a step further. If you've been following the conversation and my tutorials for the past few weeks, it's been around building an ethical, robust AI application for organization. But today, we want to start another journey in putting all of these things to test by building a robust customer support chatbot system. And the cool thing about these, or you may be asking yourself, okay, another chatbot and things like that. Well, this is going to be 100% different. And I'll tell you why. Oftentimes, it is very difficult to train a chatbot with constant business data. And what does that mean? It means sometimes when you're chatting with some of these bots, they are not as updated as you expect. The reason why sometimes they are unable to really answer questions. With what we are trying to do, it would even have capacity to go into the business database, grab information, and make do with it. So take, for instance, having a machine that it doesn't really matter the kind of data you have right now, but as the business grow, as you make more sales, as you get to answer more people, get more satisfaction in real time, this chatbot will be expected to update its knowledge base. And that's what makes this extremely interesting. So let's take a look at what we're going to be building. Of course, this project is very, very robust. In fact, it's very robust. Let me just put it that way. But we can pull it through if you follow every instructions that I have. And the question you have to ask right now is, are you really up for this kind of training or this kind of conversation? I'll tell you yes. You know, at some point you may not even understand what I am saying, but one thing I can assure you is that if you really listen, you won't remain the way you are again. Because one thing about technology is that sometimes you may think you're not getting it, but some things are sinking. You just need to know the right time to either do something else or add more resources to what you're learning to make sense out of it. This is going to be 100% practical. In fact, I've been thinking about the best way to show developers, to show people who are in the work environment how to use artificial intelligence in real time to build application. And this application is going to be that avenue for me to show that. We're not going to be coding everything. We're not going to be coding everything. I must say that again and again. We're going to leverage on AI like our life depends on it. So things that should take us days, hours, we find ourselves doing it in seconds, in minutes. So you need to just follow me through in this very edition so that you can understand how to use artificial intelligence to build application. And this is going to be epic. Okay, now let's take a look at what the project really entails so that you can really have the mindshare to follow along. The customer service chatbots, we provide, of course, instant, accurate responses to customers. The cool thing, like I mentioned, is that this bot is going to be working with real-time knowledge, which means it would have capacity to add to its knowledge base as the business grows, as more data come into the mainstream. All right, and the technology or the processes that we're going to be using to do that is what we call RAG. Now, RAG is Retrieval Augmented Generation. And this is, don't let that scare you away. When you hear the term RAG, it's just a way to store information somewhere and allow the model to pick such information whenever the need arises. For example, a customer wants to know when your next Black Friday is coming up. What the system is going to do is, do you have any documents that talks about Black Friday? Okay, retrieve the information, go through the details, see if you can pick anything from that, bring it out, and then present it to the user. And this is something that, of course, artificial intelligence is giving us the ability to do that right now. Yeah, there are a lot of problem statements when it comes to the AI or the implementation of the support center in every organization. And one of them is high volume of repetitive questions. People ask a lot of repetitive questions. And the moment you have something to answer those responses, it buy you more time to do more meaningful things. Also, long response time during peak period, inconsistent answers across support agents, knowledge gap when experienced staff are unavailable. All these things are very, very real. Difficulty maintaining up-to-date information across support channel. All these things are very real. In fact, some support team don't even know the right information. Some support team actually need the kind of information that you, the customer, need anyways. So this is not just going to serve the customer alone. It's also going to serve internal team to quickly look up questions. Somebody reach out to you. What does your business do? What does your company do? You can just quickly go there, and the machine is going to spit out what the solutions that you need. Yeah, so the solution we promise to achieve with this is retrieve relevant information from company document before generating responses. And the difference between your conventional artificial intelligence that you know right now, the likes of OpenAI and ChatGPT and Gemini, yes. The difference between what we're trying to do and them is that oftentimes some of these models don't have your business domain knowledge. And what does that mean? You ask them questions, they just give you generic responses all around. So what we're trying to do is to narrow those knowledge down into a business context in such a way that you're chatting with InstinctHub platform right now, responses you're getting is related to InstinctHub. And the cool thing is, or what makes it different from any other chatbot, is that you also rely on large language model to respond to whatever query. And what that brings to the table is human-like sort of conversation in that particular chatbot. So it's going to be really interesting, and I really want you to follow along and let's see what we can do. Who are the target audience? I had mentioned a couple of these earlier. We're looking at customers seeking quick answers to product and services questions. We're also looking at support agents who needs to quickly get knowledge. We're also looking at support manager monitoring performances and gathering insights as well. So user need fast, accurate answers without waiting for human agents. The moment human can know that they can get the right answer, trust me, they don't want to talk to any agent. But the major problem right now is there's this notion out there that if I chat with a bot, it won't solve my problem because perhaps the bot is not wise enough or reasonable enough or intelligent enough to be able to solve that problem. So we're going to be looking at a couple of how all these things will add up. Quickly, let's look at a case study, just user case study as to how this will work. So imagine new customer come on board, and it's going to be something like, as a new customer or somebody coming to ask questions. As a new customer, I want immediate guidance on how to set up my account so I can start using the product quickly. Okay. Now, acceptance criteria, chatbot provides step-by-step setup instructions, include links to relevant documentation, offer to escalate to support team if whatever isn't clear, to be intelligent enough to ask for help. Product navigation, somebody might want to navigate through the product and the person just quickly asks something that you don't really need someone to help you. I remember trying to operate an app from a bank some years ago, and I was stuck. Like, it was very difficult. I could reach out to the customer care. It was like they assumed that I should know what to do, but in real sense, I didn't know, until they sent me a manual. I had to read some manual, watch some videos, and took a lot of time. But that, by the way, so tools like these are meant to solve such problem. Of course, pricing questions and etc. So I'm just trying to glance through this technical document so that we can see or have an idea of what we're going to be doing. So it's very robust. As you can see, I'm just very little percent on the document. So I'm not sure I'll be able to go through everything, but you're going to have access to these documents, so you can just pay attention and go through it. But the cool thing here is that we're going to implement everything. Like, we're going to go through everything, every part of the implementation, and we're going to be using, of course, combination of multiple AI to make this happen. So if you haven't coded before, yes, you're going to have a co-pilot, not Microsoft Copilot, like an agent to help you sort of like do something that is extraordinary. Okay, let me also see segment, support manager story. Okay, these are just use cases that we're going to need when we're building the knowledge base. System administrator, yeah, so functional requirements, you're looking at chatbot core capability, document retrieval. Like I said, the main selling point here is the ability to retrieve documents. And if we build this smart enough, it means that at any point in time, I can go and add new documents, remove document. We're going to be building that as well. The ability for the admin to add more documents, the more they make more sales, more document, more policies, more things, whatever they create, whatever document that is just going to help, give them where to upload it so that the AI can then fetch it whenever it needs it. We're also going to be looking at context understanding, maintain conversation context for multiple tone interactions, and we're going to see how we can manage context so that even when we can have a conversation for a long time without the AI losing its memory. Another thing we're going to be looking at is response generation. Oh, before that, we have natural or neutral language processing. We have neutral language processing. This way, we need to be able to understand what the users tells the system. Of course, people don't write things very well. So you need to be able to understand sentiment of what the customer is saying. Not that they ask questions because they miss some spellings and they won't be able to get the responses. We'll forgive them for that. We just build something that is smart enough to know what they're trying to say. And that's the idea here, really. Okay, response generation, produce human-like accurate response based from the retrieve information. That's what we're going to be doing as well. Escalation protocol, we're going to determine at what point do we need somebody. At what point do we need to refer the person to somebody. Okay, one more thing we're going to be doing on that functional specification is knowledge management. We need to be able to manage the knowledge, process various document format, PDF, Markdown, HTML. We also need to know, update the knowledge base constantly. We also need to be able to keep track of the versions of all of these changes that we make. Then content tagging. When things happen like this, we need to be able to categorize content in a particular way that makes the machine understand what is required. Analytical reporting. So we need to be able to still show what is going on, track number of conversation, resolution rate, and escalation. Performance monitoring, we have to be able to measure response time and accuracy. Then customer satisfaction, are they satisfied with the platform? We should be able to cater for that as well. Then we have knowledge gap identification. We need to be able to know when our AI needs more knowledge, when we need to write more things, train it more to be better at what it does. Now, let's look at technical requirements. What are the things? Yes, we need to select LLM, large language model. I'm considering we should use ChatGPT, but we're going to decide. So instead of we use ChatGPT or we use Llama 3, we're going to be checking them out. So when we get to that junction, we will decide. Then evaluation, criteria, balance of performance, costs. In fact, cost is going to be part of what would help us decide whether we're going to be using OpenAI or not. Since Llama is open source, and the cool thing here is that we manage the business data by ourselves. So we're not giving, for using, the disadvantage of using OpenAI is that, of course, when the business data goes to OpenAI, but when you use something like this, the privacy is higher because you can manage it on the customers or on the business server or whatever platform that they have. Okay, now system architecture, we need front end. Yes, we need front end, and we're going to be using React to build dashboard, support agent interface. Like I said, this is a lot. We're going to be using API gateways, requesting routing, limiting authentication. These things might be sounding so much. Don't worry. In fact, you're already using them. You're already using interface. You're already using gateway API. Yes, you are. You are. Every time you send or text, every time you push the send button, you're already doing something similar. So you don't need to worry about that. Okay. Application layer, that's another part. Then we have, yes, in the application layer, this is where the AI thing gets to really come into practicality, because at this point, you would be required to use the model to retrieve information at every point in time. Now, let us take a look at something else. We have model layer. Yes, we have data layer. That's where we're going to be saving vector database and all of that. Don't worry about those terminology, but guess what? We'll get there. Yeah, so this is RAG implementation details. I'm not going to bore you with that, but when we get there, we'll talk about it, best practices. Remember, if you listen to my previous editions, you will understand what I have done here. Talking about writing good documentation, having good working structure for artificial intelligence, and that is what we're trying to put together here. And the more reasons why I often say that it is important that we have a very solid start when we have conversations like this. So it's a whole lot of there are so many things going on here. So these are the comparison, technology comparison, when we use Llama, when we use ChatGPT, or GPT rather, GPT-4. Also comparison when we use vector databases. And these are the options available. We're going to compare all of that. Embedded model selection, we're using OpenAI, we're using BERT Base, whatever we're going for. Costs, they are cost. We are going to see what we can do with that. Deployment option. Yes, so there are a couple of deployment options here. We're going to look at all of these things. We have the likes of Azure, AWS, we have Google Cloud, etc. I am likely not to even use any of these options, but I'll let you know when we get there. So we also have technical architecture. This is how our AI or our RAG is going to work. We saw the document source, document ingestion, that is ingesting it into the model, process it. Once we process, we index, we embed generation. So when you hear the term embed generation, it's more like converting text or into numbers and things like that, storing it into vector database, then query processing, and so on and so forth. There are so many things. Let me see if there's something more I can show you. Okay, these are simple conversation between the AI and the user. Let's just go through one example. Basic product information query. What are the difference between your basic and professional plan? Of course, what the AI is going to do through RAG is to source for the information. So let's say the file with the information is called pricingplan.md. MD means markdown, just like the way you have doc or PDF, .pdf, JPEG, something like that. So MD is for markdown. So here, the markdown file has this information. Our subscription plan include basic, professional, blah, blah, blah. Then chatbot will say, you can see the response. A basic and professional plan have several key differences, and it goes ahead to explain them in detail to the user and gets you, then customer say, does the professional plan include phone support? You see, go again and look for phone support, look for the document, retrieve it, read it. He sees that it has some information, then the chatbot comes again, respond to the user and say, look, the professional plan doesn't include phone, it offers priority email support, blah, blah, blah. So it's going to be something like that. And if you listen to it, the responses, it's meaningful. It's not just like the normal chatbot that we know. And of course, I have a couple of examples there because we really need that as we dive into the equation. And pretty much that is what it's going to look like when we finish this whole project. It means that we'll have a system that we can deploy for organizations, and at the end of the day, we tell the organization to bring whatever file they have, upload it into the system will learn from it, and boom, they're able to respond to businesses in real time. So that is what we're going to be building in the next couple of weeks. I really want you to take these as a means to connect with the world of artificial intelligence. Let me tell you one thing. There is no joke when you see all of this AI move. And you can't just be ordinary. Like, you have to have a substance, or you have to have substance to be able to catch up with this hefty pace of artificial intelligence. So I really want you to see these as a commitment that you must have. And don't see these as something you should keep to yourself. If you have a friend, if you have somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, please invite them to join the community. Share the link with them, share the group details with them so that they can join. And every week I am going to be releasing part of this tutorial to be able to make it up to what we are trying to achieve. And the cool thing here is that if you notice the videos, they are not always long. I try to make sure that they are concise enough for all of us to adapt. So there is no excuse, and I'm not charging you anything. This is free. You're taking this for free. At least at this moment, even though in the next couple of weeks it will be converted into premium, but right now, for those who are joining live, you enjoy it for free. So make good use of it. And that's how we wrap it up on this one. My name remains Noah Olatoye. If you like this video, subscribe to all of our channel and follow me on all my social media platforms. Until next time, I'll see you in the next one.